Welcome to the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day show. I am Sean Lerman. Today's show brought to you by Faulkner Buick GMC Cadillac, Aria Health, Anthony's Barbershop, the Langhorne Cab Company, Sandy's Beef and Ale, and LimoToday.com. And it is signing day. This is one of the biggest days of the year in high school football. I'm joined by Neshaminy Redskins head coach Steve Wilmot, and we are going to have a host of Neshaminy high school football players making their way up here today to talk about their decision and where they will be going off to play college football next year. So you will be able to make sure that you can catch a lot of their games. I think a lot of these guys will be getting some playing time in the early going of their career, if their high school career had anything to say about it. So, Coach, first off, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let's first just talk a little bit about the season gone by. It was a good year for the Neshaminy Redskins overall. I think around the area, expectations were on the lower end coming into the year, but I think the team far exceeded those expectations.
Yeah, I think I've said this all along, I probably sound like a broken record, but I think our senior class really brought our team back up to what people expect Neshaminy football to be. I'm really proud of the guys, all the seniors, and especially the guys in this room today.
Yeah, and talking a little bit about those seniors, this was a team that came back, a large majority of the players coming back from the year before and really banding together. And I think you could see on a week-to-week basis the improvement as the team really gelled.
Yeah, the great thing about this season is different seniors stepped up big in different games. It wasn't like one guy consistently throughout the whole year. I mean, there's guys that played at a consistently high level, but when we needed a star against Quakertown, there's Jack, and when we needed a long catch against Springford, there's Denzel, and Billy, being linemen, I guess Billy and Hunter, played consistently well all year. As a blocker, yeah, you're going to have great games, but they played consistently, great the whole year. Kyle Smith, when we needed a big play to jar the ball out, there's Kyle coming up the big play, and of course, the biggest thing about Kyle Smith is the heart and intensity that he brought to the game. So, just all these guys in this room and all the seniors in general, I really give them all the credit for the season.
Absolutely. So before we get too much into things and start talking about the specific seniors that are going to be coming up here and talking about their college decisions tonight, let's just talk about the different facets of this Neshaminy Redskins team from the past year. The offense clearly clicked very well with Denzel Hughes at wide receiver, Mason Jones at quarterback, the strong running game with Will Dogba, and an offensive line that really played well, even though there were some injuries along the way.
Yeah, I mean, the offense, again, I've said this multiple times, and I'll say it again, we kind of knew what we had coming back with Hunter and Billy. I don't think it's any mystery that I wanted to be able to run the football, but I wanted to be able to use our pass game effectively throughout the course of the year. And I think Mason, I think we spread the ball around pretty good, and Denzel and Zach Treadway and Jack was in there. I think we used Mason pretty well, and I think we ran the ball pretty well too. And again, we had targets to throw to, and we did a nice job.
On the defensive side of the ball, a lot of it started with good pressure at the line of scrimmage, and then the secondary and the linebackers coverage as well, very good throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, I think football for me starts up front. And I forgot Harmon. I didn't really forget you, Harmon. I guess in my beginning part, I mean, it all starts with the defensive line because the way Coach French's defense kind of works, it's freeing up the linebackers to be able to make plays. So, you have Harmon and Hunter at times, and Eddie Perry in there, and Parker and Billy played some defensive end. Their job is to really kind of, the one thing that they talk about with Coach is knockback, knock the offensive line back and, kind of let the linebackers come and do their thing. When we needed a pass rush, we got a pretty good pass rush. Sometimes we moved Kyle to defensive end to get that extra pass rush that we needed. And then our coverage was solid behind it as far as covering the pass. We put a lot of put a lot of responsibility on Denzel to kind of, take away that best receiver, and then, Denzel did a great job. We put a lot of responsibility with Jack, being a hybrid between kind of a linebacker and a defensive back, and he did that well also. So, again, it's good to have pieces of the puzzle like Jack, like Kyle, that you can move to different spots to do different jobs on a particular week. And Coach French and Coach Ferreira and Coach Weinbaum, Coach Coates do a nice job of being able to kind of fit the pieces of the puzzle together.
The other area of the game that I was impressed by all season long, the special teams units, and how many times that I saw from the very first game of the season, long returns by Zach Treadway on a kickoff. In that first game up in New Jersey, I think he had 3 out past the 40 to the 50-yard line, and I don't know if I've ever seen a high school team block as many punts as this team did, especially in that second half of the year.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams, as far as the kickoff return team, I think a lot of teams kicked away from Denzel because of his resume during the previous years. So that gave Zach a couple more returns. Yeah, and as far as blocking kicks, that's something that that's all Coach French, because he puts a lot of we start working on that first day of summer camp. As far as special teams are like what you put the emphasis on, and we put a lot of emphasis on being able to block a kick because that can change a game. Special teams also, again, the senior class, we needed a guy to come in and punt the ball for us, and then here comes Jack Spingler, he had 14 punts and he averaged over 30 yards each punt that he did it, and so again, it's just being able to fit different kids into different jobs, and these guys did it. So special teams, on years where you have good athletes, you're going to have good special teams, and I think we had some pretty good athletes this year.
Well, let's talk a little bit now, because what this is all about, it's the seniors going on to play at the next level, quite a few of them from the team this year. So let's run through them now, and if you want to talk a little bit about each player as we go through before we bring the guys up and they announce their decisions as to where they'll be going next season. So we can start with Jen.
So I'm not allowed to announce where they're
going?
going?
No, let's not spoil it. Let's let the players get to say where they're going.
Okay. First off, I'd just like to say about this whole recruiting process, like, wow, what a process this was. I can remember, I guess it really starts in the spring when the coaches come in. There's a period of time where they kind of come in, they come into the school, they want to see the kids. It's a little bit impersonable. There's some highs and there's some lows, and a kid comes in and a coach from Temple's talking to 3 or 4 kids, and they're taking their pictures, and the kids are have their arms out, and Billy's up against the doorway, and he's measuring how tall he is compared to the doorway, and I mean, what a process this is that they really put the kids through. It's really unbelievable, seeing my first, from start to finish. What a process it was, and all these guys here had their ups and they all had their downs as far as the recruiting goes. But I'm real happy with kind of what they've decided so far to do. Just going through, I kind of started here on alphabetical order.
I may have gotten your papers out of order.
The first guy, alphabetically order, is Denzel. Denzel, again, Denzel was one of the guys who saw time when he was a freshman, playing defense, maybe a little bit wide receiver his freshman year. And then, sophomore year, he's in there and he's starting at free safety for us. He had offers at a couple of 1AA schools, and I don't want to give away his reveal, but I think he found a school that fit real well for him. A lot of schools really wanted Denzel. He made some schools unhappy by not choosing them, but that's just kind of the way it is in the world of recruiting. I think Denzel really found a really good fit. The next guy, alphabetically, I think, was Hunter Kelly. Hunter made some schools a little bit mad because a lot of schools wanted Hunter to come to their school and block for him for the next 4 or 5 years. Hunter, just like Denzel, started on the district championship team 3 years ago. He was an important cog. He was a 10th grader starting with a lot of seniors that year, and he didn't miss a beat. He continued to get better each week. That 10th grade year, and he carried over to his junior year, and he continued to even get better his senior year. And again, a lot of schools really wanted him. Billy Ritchey, his recruiting started maybe a little bit earlier, kind of like Denzel and Hunter. A lot of Billy's recruiting got done last spring. A lot of schools really wanted him to play tight end. Again, Billy, like Hunter, I hope when you talk to Hunter, you talk about his academic average. Hunter and Billy, kind of really opened up a lot of doors for themselves because they have top tier GPAs, and when you have a top tier GPA, you have a couple more doors open to you. A lot of schools really wanted Billy, and again, just like Billy will talk to you, there was a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but I think in the end, the school that Billy chose, I think is a terrific fit for him and the school. Kyle, again, Kyle brings a lot of emotion. Kyle brings a lot of passion to the game of football. He also brings a lot of hard work. No one can question the hard work that he put into the weight room and the running, and everything was there. All that hard work that he put in translated out into the football field. He was a very explosive player for us. And when we needed that explosive play, that play to really knock the ball out of someone's out of a running back's hand, or if we needed to put him in a fullback because we needed a little bit of extra knockback on the defensive player who we're trying to block, Kyle was that guy for us, and I'm super happy with Kyle's college choice, but I'm sure you'll talk about that later.
Perhaps a little foreshadowing, but we won't give it away.
Yeah, here we go. Jack, out of all the people this year, Jack was super diligent. He was the most diligent as far as doing his homework and taking a look at all of his options. He's super diligent. Again, when you look at his football resume, it's super duper impressive. The most impressive thing about Jack this year is he won the coach's Hammer Time Award. And what the Hammer Time Award is, when the going gets tough, who are you going to look for? Who's that one guy that's going to step up and make the big play? And you're going to, throughout the whole course of the year, Jack was that guy, whether it's an interception, whether it's a fumble recovery, whether it's a caused fumble. He was second on our team in tackles. And when you talk to him, you're really going to see that he did a lot of homework on a lot of different schools, and you'll hear kind of what he's thinking. Harmon, Harmon got a lot of time last year. Harmon is a big, strong football player. A lot of school, again, going back to the old thing, he made a lot of schools unhappy. I think they're still calling me.
I think Harmon's going to make a lot of schools and a lot of quarterbacks unhappy.
I don't think a lot of schools wanted to play against them. But again, Harmon had a good recruiting process. He talked to a lot of different schools. He had got a lot of postseason accolades as far as all these guys got a lot of postseason accolades. But I think the way Harmon played this year really opened up a lot of eyes. Last year he played pretty good. This year he played really good, and he was really physical. And a lot of schools saw how physical he was and recruited him and really wanted him to come to their school.
Absolutely. Did we make it through the whole list? Did we get through everybody here?
I don't think I skipped anybody.
Did anybody get skipped, or we got the all right, we got them all. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to actually let you know where all these guys are going next year. We'll talk to all these Neshaminy seniors when we come back on the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day Show on WBCB1490.com.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go for the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. Go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
Welcome back to the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day show presented by Faulkner Buick GMC Cadillac. I'm Sean Lerman here at Neshaminy High School, and to my left, immediately to my left, is Hunter Kelly. To his left, Billy Ritchie. And as you can see by the t-shirts, these guys have made their decisions as to where they're going to play college football next year. So, Hunter, we'll start with you, a Penn State Nittany Lion.
Yep.
Well, first off, big-time congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, Hunter, if you can just talk to us a little bit about what the recruiting process was like with Penn State.
Well, with Penn State, it started, I'd say, around last December. Coach Franklin and Coach Spencer came here, and I met with them. And then a few days later, Coach Spencer came back to talk to me, and after that, we were in regular contact through Twitter, and I went up for their junior day, or for their spring game in like April, and throughout the summer I went to one of their camps, and we stayed in contact. This past fall, I went to their game against Michigan, and I just attended an official visit. And it's been a crazy process with them, just staying in contact a lot, and but it's been a fun one.
So we'll go through your resume here, Hunter. It's pretty impressive. First team Suburban 1 National Offensive Line, first team Bucks County Courier Times Offensive Line, fourth team All Southeast Pennsylvania Offensive Line by the Enquirer, the Minnie Maxwell Award winner, and as Coach alluded to, maybe the most impressive thing on this resume, a 4.0 academic average at Neshaminy High School. How did you manage over the course of your career as a student and as a football player to maintain a 4.0 average?
Well, it's a lot of hard work, obviously, and it's just keeping up with schoolwork and stuff, which is, I've got to find time to do that. But it was a lot of hard work. So the fact that I could maintain that 4.0 was I'm very proud of, and that's one of my things that's the first thing I say to college coaches is my GPA. So it was good though.
Now, going off to Penn State next year, you played both offensive and defensive line at the high school level. What are you going to be looking to do at Penn State?
I'm going to play offensive line at Penn State. I'm going to be playing most likely center, center/guard. They're going to have me listed at. But most likely I'm going to be taking more snaps at center during practice and stuff.
So, obviously, going to Penn State, a big-time, prestigious university. Clearly, they weren't the only ones giving you phone calls. I'm sure you heard from a lot of schools. How did you ultimately make the decision to pick Penn State?
Well, Penn State has always been a dream school of mine, and just being in the recruiting process itself with Penn State was a big deal to me. I was 95% sure all this time where I was going to go, and then after this official visit this past weekend, I knew that it was the place for me, and I just got the right feel from it.
Let's talk a little bit about your high school career in Neshaminy. If you can reflect on, let's talk about this past year as a senior. After a tough year, your junior year, to come back as a senior and have a very successful year this last year in Neshaminy.
Yeah, it was a great year. Something that we'll all remember. It was, I'm very proud of this season and the guys that played on this team. First off, getting a historic win against Montclair was huge. Beating them in their place for the first time in 5 years was huge. And we were the underdogs, and we were the underdogs for most of the season. So getting 9 wins this season was a huge deal for us. Winning most of our away games, going to Pennsbury the last game of the season, beating them, and getting into the playoffs. It was just a very, very solid season, I believe, and we have a lot to be proud of.
Now, if you can reflect a little bit on just your time playing football at Neshaminy in general? What was it like at these 4 years playing for the Redskins?
It was great. I grew up on the Redskins sidelines, and coming up here as a freshman and being allowed the chance by Coach Schmidt and the rest of the coaches to come up here and play on varsity as a freshman was a huge deal. Getting reps in there and stuff was amazing, and then the rest of the 4 years was really just a dream come true to play as a Redskin, and then start as a sophomore and continue that sophomore year, that awesome 13-2 year, and go and win the District 1 championship and go to the semifinals. It was just a season that I'll never forget, and there were some rough patches obviously throughout the years, but overall my time in Neshaminy's been second to none.
So I have here on my sheet here that you're going to be a business major at Penn State. How did you come to decide on being a business major?
Well, I have family members that work in business. One's a big marketing guy for Samsung. So I just felt like it was the right thing for me. I love math, and I like dealing with numbers, and I'm probably going to go into more of the marketing aspect of business, but that's how I came about that.
All right, Hunter. Well, congratulations. I have no doubt that you'll be extremely successful at the next level. We'll talk to Billy Ritchey now, and if you want to make your announcement, we can see the T-shirt. But where are you going next year?
I'm going to Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Sacred Heart, because that's a little bit outside of this area. How did you hear about Sacred Heart?
Their tight end coach emailed me one day and said he saw my film and he really liked it. It's a little bit background behind the college. It's a small Division I school. They play in the NEC, which is the Northeast Conference. So they play Duquesne, Robert Morris, and St. Francis, PA. Those are the Pennsylvania schools that people might know. And then they also play Wagner, Bryant, and Central Connecticut State, which is the other schools in the conference. We also play Ivy League schools like UPenn, Dartmouth, and Cornell.
All right, Billy. So first team Suburban won as a tight end this year. First team All Bucks County Courier Times tight end. Fourth team All Southeastern PA tight end by the Enquirer. And another player here at Neshaminy with a 3.8 GPA, a great point average. While not just playing football, but also playing baseball in high school, how did you manage to get through with a good GPA and also playing sports?
Well, the priority is your education. That's the priority. Sports comes second, and that's what everyone has to realize, because you're going to be done playing sports one day, but you won't be done learning, and that's my main focus. So I'd always have to maintain my grades, and then sports would come second.
Coach was saying in the first segment about how crazy the recruiting process was for you, how they had you standing up against the door here, spreading. Talk a little bit about what happened with that. What was the goal of that?
That was I think it was Temple. They came in and they measured me out because I'm a shorter for a tight end, so they measured my wingspan to see if I had a long enough wingspan. They did that. I did that at Boston College when I went for a visit too. So that's what they do.
They put you in a doorway?
Then they stretch you out and they measure your wingspan.
Very interesting. That is pretty cool. So Billy, you're going to the next level. It says that you'll be playing tight end and H-back. So you've played on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball at the high school level. What is it about the offensive end that you're looking forward to playing in college?
Running the ball just like we do here. The NEC is known for power run game. I'm pretty sure they had a couple of first-team All-American running backs from the NEC, and that's the conference that they play in. So it's going to be fun doing that, and I always liked playing offense, but more than defense. But it's just going to be fun.
All right, if you want to, before we let you guys get going here, reflect a little bit on your time at Neshaminy and the years that you played for the Redskins.
I started I came up as a ninth grader like Hunter and Denzel, and it's been like a long 4 years, but it's been a fun 4 years. It's been very hard work, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that's a little cliche, but have gone through this building and on that field out there, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was some of the best times of my life, and I made friendships with all the players, and all the coaches always are there for us, and I know they'll be there for us after college and through our adult lives. So it's been an awesome experience.
All right, Billy. Well, congratulations. Good luck at Sacred Heart University next year. I'm sure you're going to do great things up in Connecticut. All right, so this is the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day show. We are going to step aside, take a quick break. We'll have a couple more players up here with their announcements when we come back on 1490 WBCB.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go. For the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs, go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
Oh no, I need to get to the airport. Who am I going to call to get me there in time for my flight? Langhorne Cab Company is who to call. 215-750-7777 is the number to call for all of your rides. Doctor's appointments, shopping, senior center, or anywhere you need to be. It's Langhorne Cab Company. Fast, friendly, and reliable service. It's Langhorne Cab Company. For all your errands and appointments, call the Langhorne Cab Company. Senior discounts as well. 215-750-7777. That's 215-750-7777.
Welcome back to the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day show presented by Faulkner Buick GMC Cadillac. I'm Sean Lerman, and to my left, Denzel Hughes. To his left, Harmon Yalartai. And you can see the shirts, you can see my smile. Denzel, Harmon, if you guys want to say where you're going next year.
I'll be attending Bloomsburg University.
I'll be attending Bloomsburg University as well.
And I love to hear it. I'm a Husky as well. Very happy to see you guys going off to Bloomsburg. I think a lot of this started, I heard that you guys might be going to Bloomsburg, and I immediately sent Coach Wilmot a text thanking him for getting you guys in Huskies uniforms. So Denzel, we'll start with you. Going to Bloomsburg, first team All-Suburban 1 National Defensive Back, second team as a wide receiver, first team All-Bucks County Courier Times as a D-back, had 31 catches for 516 yards on offense this year, 37 tackles, a couple interceptions on defense, and some electric plays, returning punts, teams kicking away from you on kick returns all season. So congratulations on deciding on Bloomsburg. Talk a little bit about what that process was like in terms of deciding on Bloom.
It started a little late. I went up to a camp this summer and talked to all the coaches, saw the weight room, got a feel for the campus a little bit. Then after the season ended, head coach Stara called me, and he gave me a call saying he wanted me to come up to take a official visit. And I took an official visit to Bloomsburg, and I loved what I saw. I felt right at home.
So one of the first questions that I asked Coach Wilmot when I found out you were going to Bloomsburg is what position you would be playing if you're going to be a defensive back or a wide receiver there. So it looks like you'll be playing defensive back. Was it ever an option to play one or the other? I know you enjoy playing defensive back.
Yeah, other schools it was an option to play wide receiver and sometimes defensive back, but Bloomsburg wanted me to play defensive back, and that's what I like more right now, so I chose there.
That certainly makes sense to me. When I first heard that you'd be playing defensive back, one of my thoughts was with how much that Bloomsburg likes to run the ball on offense, you might catch more passes as a defensive back there than as a wide receiver. So you had a lot of options as far as where to go. What made Bloomsburg the right choice for you?
Since they're in PA, and I know some of the other schools were out of state, but PA was a big one. And since my grandparents own a mountain house 40 minutes away, so I'm familiar with the area of Bloomsburg, and when I went up there, everyone treated me like family and like I was already a part of the team. And the coaches never left me alone. They kept calling me, asking me when I was going to make my decision and how I liked it and how I was doing, and just to check up on me.
All right, Denzel. Well, if you want then, before we start talking to Harmon here, talk a little bit about this season that you had at Neshaminy this year and your 4 years playing for the Redskins on varsity.
Well, I'm not going to say it was perfect. It had its ups and downs, but all in all, I had a great time here, unforgettable experience, and created bonds with the players, coaches, and created a tight net of the seniors, and really created a family between the seniors.
All right, Denzel, well, congratulations. I certainly look forward to seeing you play in maroon and gold next season for the Bloomsburg Huskies. We'll talk now to Harmon Yalartai, as you said, also going to Bloomsburg next year. Harmon, a defensive lineman, and I mean, you were always a subject of conversation on the broadcast this year. Your name was never far away from what I was speaking in the play-by-play when the Redskins were on defense. 16.5 tackles for a loss, 10.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 47 tackles, second team All-Southeastern Pennsylvania defensive lineman by the Enquirer, first team Bucks County Courier-Times defensive lineman, and first team Suburban 1 National League defensive lineman. Harmon, talk about the season that you had and just how you were able to crush opponents on a week-to-week basis.
Well, really it came from last year when we had a really all season during the weight room and training. All our one coach, Coach Jones, talked about 4 and 6. What do you want to be remembered as? And that's all that would go through my head. I know it went through everybody else's head in here, but that's all we think about, being better than what we were last year because we knew what we could be.
Now, I think there were a lot of times during the season where teams actively tried to run away from wherever you were on the defensive line. If you were lined up at left end, they'd run to the opposite side. What does that say about the kind of respect that you got from other teams trying to run away from where you were on the line?
Well, really, I just got to give that to my coaches because they really trained me into what I've become. Without them, I wouldn't be anywhere. So that just goes out to them for making me what I am right now.
Let's talk a little bit about Bloomsburg now. What was the recruiting process like for you with selecting Bloomsburg?
It was a little late, Denzel. Coach Yarte came in and talked to us in school. I got a phone call later that week and decided to make it my first official visit. I went there. I loved the atmosphere. The campus was pretty nice, and I just felt like I fit in perfectly.
All right, well, very nice, Harmon. Bloomsburg, it's a school that has a reputation, especially over the last number of years, for having a very strong defense. Do you see yourself contributing in the first couple of years at Bloomsburg?
If I work hard, nothing's just given to you. If I work hard and I put in the time and effort that's needed, I'll be able to see the field. Be able to see the field soon.
Have you? So you were able to go up and visit Bloomsburg. You said it's a nice campus. What about Bloomsburg really stood out for you?
Well, here, it's all about family. So wherever I could go to, because you can't really replace here, but wherever I could get that feeling from, the family feel, and I got that from Bloomsburg, like Denzel said. I just felt like I fitted in perfectly. So.
All right, well, I'm sure you guys are both going to have outstanding careers at Bloomsburg. Coach Dara is an outstanding coach. He was named head coach my senior year at Bloomsburg, and I got to meet him and talk to him, and he's one of those guys that he's very inviting to talk to, I think. When you have a conversation with him, he makes you feel like he knows you when he's talking to you, and I think he'll be a great coach for both of you. I wish you both the biggest success for the Bloomsburg Huskies.
Thank you.
All right, so we will be back. This is the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day Show presented by Faulkner Buick GMC Cadillac. We will be right back after this on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Is it time for a haircut? Are you tired of getting a bad one and the production line atmosphere of the chain store unisex salons? Do you wish you could find a traditional barbershop with classic porcelain chairs where you can still get a great haircut that's always finished with a hot lather, straight razor neck shave, some good conversation, and Dean Martin playing on the radio? Anthony's Barbershop, winner of the 2014 and 2015 Best of Bucks, is that place. Anthony's Barbershop is located at 145 Woodburn Road in the Middletown Shopping Center, across from McCafferty Ford. It's time to break free from the chains. Come back to the barbershop, come to Anthony's Barbershop.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go for the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. Go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
Welcome back to the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day Show presented by Faulkner Buick GMC Cadillac. I am Sean Lerman, and we've got our last two Neshaminy Redskins seniors that are going off to play college football next year. To my left, Kyle Smith. To his left, Jack Spingler. A couple of guys on the defensive side of the football this year that really had outstanding years for the Neshaminy Redskins, and also played a little bit on offense as well. Jack, if you want, we can start with you. I know you haven't made a decision yet as to exactly where you're going, but if you want to, talk a little bit about what the recruiting process has been like for you so far.
Yeah, definitely. I started first thinking about schools that educationally could put me in a position to succeed later in life. So I know I kind of looked at it as if I got 4 years left of football in my life, and where can I go that I can have fun, play 4 years of football, and then get great opportunities for jobs after school, because football's not always going to be there for me. So I kind of narrowed it down to, some of the private schools in the, Centennial Conference, and I also, took a look at some of the state schools and kind of compared, and I also took a look at a school out of state, and I know it was a private school, it's a D2 school. So right now I'm between Ursinus and Assumption, both very good schools academically, both are private schools. So I'm trying to, narrow things down, and hopefully I get to, make my decision tomorrow, and, wherever I go, I know, I'll have a good time, I'll get a great education, and, hopefully get a great job after my schooling.
All right, Jack. Well, it's good to see that you're thinking ahead, thinking well on this. We'll look at your resume here. Obviously, you are a thinker. A 3.8 GPA, great job in high school and on the football field. 9 catches for 135 yards this year. 14 punts for a 30-yard average. And I remember seeing the first punt that you had that must have gone off the side of your foot, and that did not go very far. And I thought, I thought they were just throwing you in there. We'll let Jack punt because it was a blowout. I think that was against Ben Salem.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, you were outstanding punting the ball for the entire rest of the year. 66 tackles this season, second on the team, 2 sacks, 6 interceptions, including 3 in that game against Quakertown, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. You were the recipient, as Coach mentioned earlier, of the Hammer Time Award. An honorable mention, Bucks County Courier Times linebacker and Suburban One National League linebacker, which I think I agree with a lot of people in the area that may have been a bit of a slight, and I think that you were certainly above honorable mention, at least at WBCB. If we put a list together, you certainly would have made first team for us.
Thank you.
So Jack, talk a little bit about this season that you had for Neshaminy, and if you can, start with that 3 interception game that you had against Quakertown.
Yeah, definitely. That 3 interception game was, definitely the highlight of my season. It's just something where I was just able to, take an opportunity when I saw it, and definitely one of the greatest things that has ever happened to me. And the season's been great. I've really meshed with the guys. Really made friendships that I'll have for a long time. Season's been a lot of hard work, but definitely paid off, and something I'll never forget.
Now, you played offensive and defensively this year for the Neshaminy Redskins, played some wide receiver on the defensive side of the ball, played that hybrid linebacker safety position. What are you looking to do at the next level, offense or defense?
At the next level, I'm looking to play defense. I'm looking to try to play safety and secondary at either of the 2 colleges I try to decide. Now,
I know a lot of schools are using that hybrid defensive back and linebacker position now. So I know at Westchester they refer to it as the shark linebacker. So do these schools have that position to kind of slot you into?
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely have me in some situations where I can cover man-to-man, cover in the zone, and then they have me in some situations where I could be put in the box or coming off the edge blitzing. So I'm definitely real excited for the opportunities that can come from the next level.
All right, Jack. Well, congratulations. A great year for the Neshaminy Redskins. Whatever school ends up with you on their roster for next season, I think they are going to be very fortunate, and they're going to be very happy about having you on their team.
Thank you.
All right, Kyle. We'll talk to you now. Kyle Smith, another Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference player here, if you want to announce where you're going.
I'm going to Lock Haven University.
Lock Haven University for Kyle Smith. an outstanding linebacker for Neshaminy this season, second team Suburban 1 National linebacker, second team Bucks County Carrier Times linebacker, 40 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 1 interception, and 3 forced fumbles this year. Kyle, it was a great year. Now going off to play at Lock Haven. Talk a little bit about what the recruiting process was like for you.
I was going in January. I called Kutztown, and they weren't really interested in me. And then Lock Haven called me probably the week of that I was going to go visit Lock Haven, and they said that they wanted me to come up for a visit for football and stuff. So I went for an official visit, and January 9th, that's when I talked to the coaches. They gave us a whole interview, and their expectations and how their goals and stuff are, and the new coaches and stuff. It kind of relates to what how our football works and stuff like that, and I really like that. And that really felt like home to me, and where I want to stay for the next 4 to 5 years and put all my blood, sweat, and tears in, and really that's where I want to be committed to.
So what does their defense kind of look like up there, and how do you see yourself fitting into things?
Well, how their defense coordinator says it is, it's kind of like a stacked defense, but more they change it up because of all the different forms and spread offense, and they really adjust it every week. So you really have to be open with it and stuff like that.
All right, Kyle. So as far as your time here at Neshaminy High School, if you want to talk a little bit about your senior year and about your time at Neshaminy in general.
My time at Neshaminy was great. I really had a lot of bonds with my friends and stuff. I mean, I had a lot of best friends and stuff like that, especially my buddy Dalton. I mean, we worked together. We were on the same side all the time. I mean, that whole bond there with we call ourselves Wolfpack and stuff like that, and all the coaches and stuff like that helping us out and making us better players and all that stuff like that. And it really helped out watching all that film and all that stuff like that. It made us have more passion to go out there and be more ready to go play the next games and stuff like that. And I mean, that's really special to me, and it's actually going to help me out for the next level of football.
Absolutely. So, Kyle, now you're going to Lock Haven. We already talked to Harmon and Denzel, who are going to Bloomsburg next year. So, a little bit of a rivalry now. What's it going to be like, do you think, playing against some of your teammates from high school?
It's going to be a respect neutral thing. We're going to shake hands at the end of the game, but in the beginning of the game, I don't think I'm going to talk too much to them. But, I mean, we're going to go out there and we're going to play them, and we're going to work. Yeah.
All right, Kyle. Well, congratulations. You're going to have a great career at Lock Haven, I have no doubt. Congratulations on a great high school career. I want to take this opportunity just to thank all of you guys who are here, hung out for this show, all the coaches, and everybody who was a part of Neshaminy football this season. This was my second year with the team. It was an absolute blast getting to know you guys, and I'm looking forward to keeping an eye and seeing what you all do at the next level of football. This is the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day show. We're going to step aside, take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about these golden footballs with Neshaminy Athletic Director Tom Magdalinskis. We'll be right back on 1490 AM WBCB.
Sandy's Beef and Ale has been serving famous hand-carved roast beef sandwiches since 1967. Sandy's Beef and Ale is located in the Woodburn Square Shopping Center next to the Oxford Valley Mall. Stop in anytime for not only the roast beef sandwiches, but also the patty, the tailgater, and the Cuban. Family and friends have been coming to Sandy's Beef and Ale since 1967. 2028 Old Lincoln Highway, the home of the hand-carved sandwich.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go for the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. Go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
Welcome to the Neshaminy Redskins Signing Day show presented by Faulkner Buick GMC Cadillac here on 1490 WBCB. I am Sean Lerman, and we are back now with Tom Magdalinskis, the athletic director here at Neshaminy High School. And these golden footballs that we have in front of us here, first off, how cool is this? that Neshaminy is a part of this. And before we get too far into things, Tom, if you want to explain to the viewers and the listeners what exactly these golden footballs signify.
Okay, the golden footballs are every player in the United States who played in the Super Bowl. Each high school will get a ball commemorating their participation in the Super Bowl, win or lose. So we are one of hundreds of schools that get them, but we received 4 footballs from the NFL. They all have the names of the 4 individuals on there: Harry Shue, Matt Barr, Chris Barr, and Steve Shull. And combined, even though there's 4 footballs there, they participated in 6 Super Bowls. As far as how they got here, it was interesting. An Neshaminy alum called us probably back in December, and he gave us a heads up that the NFL was going to do this program. We didn't hear a whole lot about it until we received another call from Chris Barr, who's one of the recipients. And Chris gave us a heads up that they were coming, and it was really cool in the fact that it came in a pretty indiscreet package. You didn't know what was in it, and then it was football nirvana, so to speak, opening up, and the golden football was there.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty impressive that there are a lot of schools around the country that are getting 1, some of them getting 2 of these, but for Neshaminy to get 4 of these footballs is a pretty cool thing.
It's an awesome thing, and I have the fortune of being a resident of the district. I played for Neshaminy High School, and in one regard, it's you grow up as a little boy dreaming to play for Neshaminy High School and being a part of the team because of the excellence that's been established. It has a flip side of it that everybody's gunning for you, but I think if you're part of this community and you're part of this football program, you just learn to accept it and to deal with it and to deal with the task at hand. And again, these guys helped establish or helped contribute to a 50, 60-year legacy of outstanding football. So to have this, I don't want to say it validates what people do and what people think, but it sure does feel good.
It's got to feel good. And also I think something that, as I look at some of the information I have in front of me here about this 50th Super Bowl celebration and the golden footballs that are being distributed, Pennsylvania football really stands out among a lot of the other states. Pennsylvania 5th most in the number of footballs being distributed, 4th most in the number of high schools that are receiving football. So I think that says something even more about the quality of competition here in Pennsylvania and something that Neshaminy is going against every week.
It does, and you don't have to even look past our own league, let alone the state. The suburban one has always been well represented since the state playoffs have begun. Whether you look at the great teams from CB West, the outstanding teams that we've put out there, the outstanding teams that our neighbors from Fairless Hills have put out there. We're part of a great league, and we're in a state where when you win a state title, it has some pretty deep, has some deep meaning to it.
Let's talk a little bit before we get going here, Tom, about the accomplishments of some of the Neshaminy football players that we're honoring here with this signing day show tonight. I mean, what a career by this group of guys, and where everybody's going off to next year. We'll start with the 2 guys that I've been most excited about, and that's, of course, Denzel Hughes and Harmon Yalartai going to my alma mater, Bloomsburg University. They've had some phenomenal careers here at Neshaminy High School.
Absolutely, they have, and they're each unique playmakers in their own way. Denzel, I can remember him getting some minutes as a freshman here at Neshaminy, and then of course, hauling it. I don't know how many interceptions he had, but he was a ball hawk for years here, and certainly established himself as a presence, and the opposing quarterback had to be well aware of where he was at. We were able to sprinkle the ball to him, or Coach Wilmot was able to sprinkle the ball to him this year, and get him involved. I think probably one memorable moment I had was the Quakertown game with that long pass that really turned the tide of the game and put it in our favor. Harmon, it's tough to underestimate what he did as a defensive presence out there. He reestablished it. In my mind, he set a new line of scrimmage for us. And even if Harmon wasn't making the tackle, it freed up the linebacker behind him to scrape and come and kind of clean up the mess. So, you know, you had Harmon making tackles, and then when he wasn't making tackles, he was freeing up other guys. You know, each of them had pretty special senior years, and the fact that we were able to go fairly deep in the playoffs was a nice bonus.
I have to say, as a Bloomsburg alum, very happy to see those two guys going to Bloomsburg University. But not the only guys going to the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Kyle Smith heading to Lock Haven University as a linebacker. Kyle, also a great career here in Neshaminy.
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, I saw this coming last year as Kyle, each and every year each and every game beginning his junior year, I saw, you know, steady improvement, and you know, at that point he was really doing a great job setting the edge and kicking balls back inside where the you know, inside linebackers and the ends were able to, again, clean up the mess. A big physical presence, and then if I recall correctly, the Springford game, we were able to pop him in there fullback in some short yardage situations where he was able to go in there and pop open some nice holes to get Will through there. So again, that's a great pickup for Lock Haven, and I'm sure, I don't know where they're going to put him, but you know, they'll find a home for him on the field, no doubt.
A couple other guys that spent some time opening holes for the backs, Will Dog, but that's Hunter Kelly and Billy Ritchie, just some of the best blockers I've seen at the high school level. Hunter going to Penn State, Billy going to Sacred Heart, and both of those schools getting some incredibly talented players.
Yeah, and for 2 years I've seen it, and really, truly for 3 years. If you needed a tough yard, if we needed a tough yard, you know, whether it was Coach Schmidt, whether it was Coach Frederick, whether it was Coach Wilmot, 3rd and short, 4th and short, it was, you know, you could be reasonably certain it was going to go behind those two guys, and you could be reasonably certain that it was going to be successful. You know, I kind of go back and I hope my memory's not fading me, but the Montclair game, we had a big 4th down. I thought it was 4th and 1.5. Coach thought it was 4th and a half. But either way, there really wasn't much of a mystery of what was going to happen and who we were going to go behind. And you know, we popped it for 4 or 5 yards, if my memory serves me. And again, that was a pattern that you could see, where tough yardage, tough part in the game where you needed the yards, you went behind them. I'm sure it wasn't a mystery to the defense, but the truth is they just couldn't stop it.
One last player to talk about here, Jack Spingler, going on to play at the next level. And I know for me, something I'm always going to remember, broadcasting that game against Quakertown and those 3 interceptions by Jack Spingler, as many as he had for the season coming into that game, hauling in 3 interceptions. That was one of the best performances I've seen by an individual on a high school football field.
Absolutely. It was amazing to me. You know, Jack's a tall, rangy kid. He's athletic. He played, you know, some basketball as well. And I was amazed that Quakertown continued to test him. And you know, the truth of the matter is that Jack passed the test each and every time they came at him. You know, he said he had the big long arms, and they would, you know, reach out there and stab the ball out of the air, and you know, thwart good drives. Jack has a good head for the game, and certainly whoever picks him up is going to be very fortunate, because he has all the tools to be a really outstanding college football player.
Before I let you get going, I just want to talk a little bit about next season. All of these colleges are getting some outstanding players, but there is still football to be played here at Neshaminy High School, and this is a team that's now also going to be bringing quite a few players back for another season.
Yep, can't wait for next year, and that's the beauty of football here in Neshaminy. And you know, I guess I kind of go back to the Golden Footballs. You know, sometime in late July, early August, somebody will stop me, whether it's at the mall, whether it's at a restaurant, whether it's at the supermarket, and they'll say, "How's the team going to be?" And the team they're talking about is the football team. And you know, we've built a pretty good, you know, non-league schedule to get us geared up for the regular season. We're excited about you know, who's coming back. At least I'm excited about who's coming back. And I look in the weight room just yesterday. 82 guys are in there throwing weights around, getting ready. And that's not including some of the kids that are down in the wrestling room right now or on the basketball court. So you know, we're geared up, ready for next year. We're going to do some mild stadium improvements for next year because you know, we want Heartbreak Ridge to be an awesome place, and we never want it to look old and run down. So we have some stadium renovations, minor as they may be, but it's still improvements. And we want to put a quality product out there. And each and every year we're lucky to have a great coaching staff. So whatever group the kids are in there, the one thing I can tell you for certain is how they're playing in August, they will be playing significantly better in October and again in November. And you can go back season after season after season and see that. It's partly tradition, it's partly hard work, it's partly outstanding coaching, and it's part of that Heartbreak Ridge magic in some sense. We get better as the year goes on, and that's something that I'm exceptionally proud of each and every year.
All right, Tom. Well, I certainly look forward to next year, and I was proud to be able to broadcast the games of these seniors. They're going to be moving on to the next level. So thank you so much for joining me on the show, Tom. A big thank you to Hunter, Billy, Kyle, to Jack, Harmon, to Denzel, Coach Wilmot, Coach French for working the camera for us tonight, and to Brooke St. Ives back at our WBCB Sports Network studios. I'm Sean Lerman. This has been the Neshaminy Football Signing Day Show presented by Faulkner Auto Group, Aria Health, Anthony's Barbershop, the Langhorne Cab Company, Sandy's Beef and Ale, and LimoToday.com. Have a great night, everyone.